Okay, in this video we'll start learning how to use Unity to create a platform game. I'm using Unity 2017.4.16. However, at home you can use whatever version you want, and the vast majority of these concepts will apply. There may be minor differences. So when you get to this screen, which is what happens as soon as you open up Unity, we're going to click on New. And our platform game is going to be in 2D, so I'm going to click on 2D. And I'm just going to choose the location, my project. I'm going to give it a new folder. I'm just going to call it Platform Unity. Horrible spelling, but oh well. This platform, and I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it Simple Platform. Okay, and then I click on Create the Project. And I give it a sec while Unity loads. Minimize that because it's annoying. Okay, and now that it's loaded, you get to this space over here. So you can see the default work view is divided into 4 different regions. This area over here is called the hierarchy. And in the hierarchy, we have things like our scenes, our cameras, any object that we're going to put into the game. We'll discuss the hierarchy more in the next video. In here is our actual game space. So when we build our level, we're going to be building it predominantly in here. On this side, we have an inspector, and we'll go through the inspector in more detail throughout the following videos. But just as a quick overview, if I click on an object, either in the hierarchy or in the game space, I'm going to have a whole bunch of options come up in the inspector, and I could set things like its position, its rotation, its scale, things like that we'll go more into as well. And then down here we have our folder structure. Unity by default creates this folder called assets, and that's where it wants us to put all our sprites, music, animations, things like that. So to start off with, we're going to just set up these folders by creating a whole bunch of folders inside. We're going to create one called scripts. We're going to create one called scenes. And I'm creating these folders just by right-clicking here in the assets, then going to create, and then folder. We'll create one called animations. We'll create one called prefabs. And we'll create one called, we've got sprites in here, we'll call it sprites. Okay, and something like this is the general convention when you're creating a game in Unity. Animations, prefab, scenes, scripts, sprites. However, there may be different variations of this, or you can create your folder structure however you want, really. It doesn't matter too much except for your own understanding and for understanding of people who will also work on your game or check on your game later. Now we'll go through what all these are, like prefab, scenes, scripts, etc. In the future, so prefabs in the next video. But the important one now is the one called scenes. And scenes here are like your levels and your game screens, things like that, right? So up here, where it says Untitled, this is your first scene. So it's currently called Untitled, but to save the scene, and I'll go into my scenes, and I'm just going to call this level 1. Level 1, and it saves it as a .unity file, so I'll just click save. Okay, and make sure you saved it into your scenes folder. So if I double click on scenes, I should see that level 1 up now. Cool. And then now that my level 1's created, we want to drag in a couple of assets. So I'm going to go here to my sprites, and I'm going to quickly go find some assets and drag it into this folder. Cool. So Unity has something here called the asset store, where you can buy and download all types of scripts and plugins and sprites, music, sound clips, things like that. So I'm just going to search for a free platform game one. So I'm just going to type in platform and search, see what comes up. I'm just going to narrow it down to 2D. we go. There's a free one I've used before up there. Oh, here we go. 2D ice platform pack. That looks interesting. Let's have a look. Oh, I'm just going to download it. Let's see what it has. Cool. And then once it's downloaded, you have to import it into your project. So I'll click on import. So it has a platform, grounds. Okay, so these were just the platforms, no characters. I'll import a character separately. Right, so it's put it in here. So it's created this folder. So I'm just going to drag that to my sprites, dump it in there. And then I'm going to search for 2D. Actually, yeah, I'll just search for character. Maybe I want, what goes on ice? Like, I don't know. So I want a knight. Should be a free one somewhere. Here we go, there's a 2D Knight sprite sheet for free, so I'll click on that, let's have a look. Looks like it's pixel art, so the artwork won't match the platform I chose, but oh well. Actually, I don't think it's pixel art. No, it's not. I'll just download it. Again, once it downloads, I have to import it, and then, come on. Brings up this import screen, asking us what we want to import. And I think they've actually separated, I don't think it's in one sprite sheet, I think they've done it as separate images already, but let's bring it in and we can have a look. And here we go, Knight files, drag that into sprites as well, just to keep our assets folder looking tidy. Okay, I'll go into sprites and let's have a look at some of these files. So up here there was a couple of different options. Scene is the one we will be predominantly working at, so I'll click back into scene and let's go into our Knight. Okay, so they've already cut this sprite sheet into different images for us. Just see what's in here. Okay, so they've given us a few explosions and fireballs and things like that. Very cool. Okay, so they have a Knight attack. Let's look for a Knight idle or something like that. Knight die. Knight jump. Yeah, Knight idle. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 6 sprites. This is in an animation, and I'll leave the animation for a future video. So I'm just going to drag up this idle one for now. So there's my Knight. Okay, so when I drag this Knight up, a Knight idle object name appeared here in the hierarchy, and if I click on it, if I look in the inspector, it gives me a few different options that we'll get into. Cool, so there's my Knight. To play the game, I click on the play button up here. So far nothing should happen because I haven't told it to do anything when I press play. Wait for it to load. Cool, so that's my game so far. Nothing's happened. Okay, so I'm just going to click it again to stop it. I'm here back at the scene, and we'll continue in the next video.